Hey again, it's Rob Foreman, Wharton undergraduate class of 2006, and I'm an aspiring writer out in Los Angeles, California. Something you might be wondering is what steps exactly am I taking to try and transition from being an aspiring writer to being an actual or paid writer? The short answer is that I spend a lot of my time writing, because no one is going to just give you a job as a writer. What you need to show them are samples. You need to show them that you are able to write, and what I've found is that the more you write, the better at it you get. So you just do a lot of it. Within even the subcategory of television writing, though, there are a lot of different kinds of samples that you could choose to spend your time on. And what I want to talk today about is one of those kinds of samples, which is called the Spec script. There's a lot of different information online about what spec scripts are, but really briefly, it's your best version, your best idea for what an episode of any show that's on air right now could be. So you have a great idea for a storyline, you know who the characters are, you know what they sound like, you know what the tone of the show is, the pace, and you write an episode. But what do you do with that once you have your finished script? Well, it used to be that people who were doing staffing on shows or hiring the writers would read spec scripts, and that has by and large fallen out of fashion, which is not to say that there are no shows that read spec scripts anymore, and not to say that in the future they won't. But predominantly right now, what I've heard is that people are reading original samples. So why bother writing a spec script? There are places that don't read original samples, and in particular there are writing fellowships and workshops out here that are very prestigious that can't, for legal reasons, accept original material, but if you get accepted, it can be a big boost in helping get you that first staffing job. So what I've done this year is I wrote a spec of the Fox show Glee, and I sent it into the ABC Disney Fellowship. I sent it into the Warner Brothers workshop, and I sent it into an NBC program called Writers on the Verge. 3 years ago, I wrote a spec script of a show called Heroes and was a finalist for the ABC Disney Fellowship. In the last 3 years, I was really concentrating on original samples, and I didn't actually write any more spec scripts. But I said this year, you know, I want to try again. I got so close last time, and I have this really great idea for an episode of Glee. And so I wrote it and I sent it in, and we'll see what happens in a few months. And one of the things I'd actually almost forgotten entirely about writing spec scripts, because it had been a little over 3 years since I'd written my last one, is that you can do them a lot faster than you'll be able to write your original material, mostly because the characters and their voices are already there. You don't need to create them the way you do when you're writing your own characters. Which was a really good thing for me this year, because I only was able to start writing my Glee spec when I went on hiatus from Army Wives in the middle of May, and the deadlines for the ABC Fellowship and the Warner Brothers workshop are June 1st. So I really had to work my butt off to get it done, and I'm really happy with the product. And again, we will see what happens in a few months when we start hearing about interviews for the next stage of their application process. But like I said, what I've mostly been concentrating on is original material, and over this hiatus, starting my first adventure in writing a book. And so we'll talk about that stuff next time.